Verona pays no attention to this focusing. Instead, on preparing notes for his meeting soon, he receives a call from his assistant informing him that all the attendees for his meeting have arrived and are inquiring about his whereabouts. Shortly after Verona reaches his office, where a new employee greets him with coffee, he engages in a pleasant conversation with her before heading to the elevator. Inside the elevator, he encounters a former friend who now works at his company, attempting to rekindle their past camaraderie. Verona smiles and tries to engage her in conversation. However, she firmly states that their relationship is strictly professional now and asks him not to be overly familiar. Despite her clear boundaries, Verona attempts to touch her inappropriately, prompting her to react by pressing his hand forcefully, causing him to release her. She exits the elevator, leaving Verona smiling to himself as the elevator ascends. While in the elevator, Verona receives a call from his wife. During their conversation, the elevator experiences a power issue and comes to a stop. Unconcerned, Verona ends the call and contacts the building's technician requesting immediate assistance. As his meeting is about to start, the technician informs him that the issue originates from the roof and that a team of mechanics is being dispatched to resolve it. Verona then calls his assistant again, who expresses concern. As the clients are growing impatient and considering leaving, he instructs her to keep them engaged by any means necessary until he arrives. During this time, Verona hears strange noises and contacts the technician once more. The technician mentions an attempt to activate the generator, which failed, followed by alarming sounds and the mechanics terrified. Screams before the call abruptly ends. Disturbed by these events, Verona decides to escape the elevator. He removes his coat and manages to open the inner elevator door easily, but the outer door proves more challenging. After considerable effort, he opens it slightly enough to peek out and see an empty floor. He calls out for help, but no one responds. His phone rings again. It's his wife, who is frightened by news reports of citywide destruction and someone persistently knocking at their door. Verona advises her to call the police, but she has already tried multiple times without success. He then contacts a friend, urging him to go to his house immediately to assist his wife. The friend agrees but notes the heavy traffic may cause delays. Verona attempts to reassure his wife, but she remains terrified. He checks the news on his phone and learns that people in the city are suddenly turning violent, attacking each other, and exhibiting bloodthirsty behavior resembling zombies. Fires are reported throughout the city, especially in laboratories. As he processes this information, Verona hears commotion outside the elevator. He looks out to see people running in fear. He waves and calls for help, but no one stops. Suddenly, a girl falls near the elevator. It's his friend from earlier. She pleads for help and Verona tries to pull her into the elevator. However, someone outside is also pulling her away. Despite his efforts, the person outside overpowers him and drags her away. Verona cannot see the attacker's face, but is left deeply shaken. He hears more strange noises and cautiously approaches the elevator door. Two bloodied individuals appear, revealing themselves as zombies. Terrified, Verona retreats and watches in disbelief as the zombies attempt to enter the elevator. Suddenly they are distracted by another human's noise and leave to pursue that person, sparing Verona for the moment. Meanwhile, Verona receives a call from his friend. His friend says, "Tell me what to do. I've arrived at your house." Verona is quite confused as his friend is unaware of the situation. He tries to explain everything that's happening, but his friend doesn't understand what he's trying to say. Just then the technician calls again. He informs Verona, "We have lost contact with the mechanics we sent. Obviously, the lift hasn't been fixed. Sorry for the inconvenience, sir." Verona attempts to explain the situation to the technician, but he doesn't grasp the severity of the problem. Suddenly a zombie girl appears and grabs Verona by the neck. He's terrified and struggles to free himself. Eventually, he manages to break free and pushes himself aside. The zombie tries to enter the lift and Verona, in fear, grabs a rod and strikes her multiple times. After several hits, she collapses lifeless. He sees another man approaching the lift, recognizing him as a colleague. The man expresses his desire to enter the lift, but Verona warns him. It's impossible due to the limited space. Ignoring the warning, the man persists, but as zombies approach, he flees. Zombies gather at the lift entrance and Verona, already enraged, shouts at them, knowing they can't enter. His loud voice attracts more zombies. He grabs the rod and strikes their heads repeatedly, killing many of them. He then sees his assistant approaching terrified and pleading for help as numerous zombies chase her. She enters an office to hide, but before she can close the door, zombies burst in and attack her. Verona screams, unable to save her. After calming down, he checks his mobile and finds a reporter's video. She explains that due to the dire situation, all news channels have shut down and she's broadcasting live. She warns that the zombie virus is spreading rapidly and anyone wishing to survive must leave the city. As Verona watches the area's power goes out, increasing his anxiety, fearing zombies might enter. Suddenly someone starts shooting zombies, aiming for their heads and killing them. Verona signals for help and a police officer approaches asking if he's injured or infected. Verona assures him he's been trapped since before the outbreak. The officer explains he came to assist people, but has lost contact with his team. Verona pleads for help to open the lift. The officer tries, but fails to force it open. Realizing the lift won't open this way, he decides to go up and open it from there. He hands Verona a walkie-talkie and a gun, instructing him to shoot any approaching zombies in the head. He promises to return after fixing the lift as the officer ascends, killing any zombies in his path. Verona warns him to be cautious, mentioning that many staff members went up and never returned. The officer reaches the generator and attempts to start it. Electricity is restored, including power to the lift. However, the lift doors remain open. Verona realizes something is obstructing them. He attempts to remove the object blocking the doors. Meanwhile, the zombies come and begin to attack him, and Verona, frightened, moves himself to the side quickly. The officer calls out to him, "Where's the gun? Pick it up and shoot them." Verona grabs the gun and fires at the zombies, aiming straight at their heads one by one. They all fall lifeless. After killing them, Verona becomes emotional. He feels bad because those zombies were once people who worked with him in his own office. The officer tells him they are not your friends anymore. They're just monsters. They're thirsty for blood. Your real friends are long gone, so don't feel sad for them while they're talking. Verona begins to hear strange zombie noises coming from the officer's walkie-talkie, and then suddenly the officer's voice goes silent. Verona fears the worst, that the officer is gone too. He feels broken again. Sits back down on the floor, disappointed and alone. Time passes and night falls. Verona, full of frustration, screams loudly, hearing his voice. A large group of zombies rushes toward him. Seeing them all coming, Verona puts the gun in his mouth, ready to end his life, but just before pulling the trigger, he hears the voice of the officer. The officer is alive. He calls from above. Verona stands up quickly, realizing the officer is on the roof. The officer tells him to open the emergency exit. On top of the lift, Verona grabs a rod and begins hitting the roof with force. Eventually, the top of the lift opens. The officer climbs inside and immediately fires at the zombies, killing every one of them. After that, he sits beside Verona and says, with sadness, "I have to tell you the truth, one of the zombies bit me." Verona looks at him with sorrow and asks, "Where did all of this start from?" The officer explained someone created this zombie virus for an experiment. During testing, things went wrong. People started turning into zombies, and since then the virus spread uncontrollably. Anyone who gets bitten turns into one of them, and now it's not just our city, it's the whole world. After saying this, both of them start talking about their families. Then the officer takes his gun, loads it and hands it to Verona. He says, "I'm going to sleep. Once I fall asleep, shoot 2 bullets into my head. I don't want to turn into a zombie." Verona refuses, saying, "I can't do that. I can't kill you." The officer says, "Then I'll have to do it myself," but before he can, Verona snatches the gun. The officer punches him hard in the face and Verona faints. After some time, Verona wakes up and sees the officer sleeping. He breathes a sigh of relief, but when the virus fully spreads through the officer's body, he wakes up as a zombie, dangerous and deadly. He attacks Verona and tries to bite him. Verona, though he doesn't want to, is forced to shoot him. He fires 1 bullet into his body and 2 more in his head, finally killing him. But during the struggle, Verona is shot in the leg and gets badly injured. Suddenly, after hearing the gunshots, more zombies begin to appear. He tries to fight them off, shooting as many as he can. Once his gun runs out of bullets, he grabs the officer's weapon, which is fully loaded, and fires blindly. He keeps aiming at their heads, and one by one the zombies fall after finishing them all. Verona starts to move back, but he slips, falls hard, and faints again. When he regains consciousness, he looks around and sees that no zombies are left, only dead bodies scattered all over. Then his phone rings. As he picks it up, he hears the voice of his wife. Verona lights up with happiness. His wife is alive. She tells him the army saved her life and now she's safe in their camp. But just then his mobile battery drops and the call gets disconnected. Even then, Verona is full of joy. His wife is alive, and that's enough for him. He now wants to get out of this place. He picks up a rod and tries to remove the object stuck in the door that's preventing it from opening. After a long struggle, he manages to remove it and opens the door. At last, he can't believe what he just did. He steps outside and walks into the hallway where he sees destruction and blood everywhere. Suddenly, a zombie girl comes crawling toward him. Both her legs were missing. Verona wastes no time. He kicks her over and over again until she dies on the spot. Now he walks out onto the road and sees the city and ruins. Another zombie girl appears and moves forward to attack him, but before she reaches Verona, a bullet hits her in the head and she dies. It's the army there everywhere now, shooting zombies and saving survivors. Seeing them, Verona gets hopeful. He starts waving his hands high in the air, trying to signal to them that he's still alive and safe.